You pull up in that 97 Civic, talking your shit. You caught me off guard. You hit a lick with me. Niggas had to see.
Hey y'all, and welcome back to the channel. As you can tell from today's title, today's video is a May reading wrap up. This month started off very slow. I think it was already 2 weeks into the month and I had only read one book, but I had to go on a road trip, and a very long road trip, and I was able to listen to 2 audiobooks. And after that, by the time I got home, all I did was read. So I say all of that to say, in total, we have read 8 books this month. Now, we did not read a nonfiction book this month, but that is okay because we read 8 books, so it really don't even matter. It don't. Let's do a wrap up of all of the books I read. So the first book that I completed this month was Only for the Weak by Natasha Bishop. Now, I did start this book in April, but I finished it on May 8th. So it took me a minute to finish this book. Now, I really did enjoy the book. I gave it 4.25 stars. That book is actually a reread. I read it last year, I want to say in November, maybe October, when Natasha Bishop published it on Kindle Unlimited, but she published it through a publisher this year, and I want to get the physical book. But the premise of the story is you have a woman that's going to her sister's wedding, but her sister is marrying her ex-boyfriend. Now, you would think that the main thing of that story is her trying to navigate this, but she really don't care. But everybody wants her to care. So the story mainly focuses on her trying to navigate being there for her sister as a bridesmaid, while also keeping her distance to make sure that she's not making her sister uncomfortable with the situation, even though that's your man. But she also finds her new little love interest, Rome, who just so happens to be the groom's best man. It sounds messy because it is, but this story I absolutely love. So the next book I finished was Parable of the Sower, which is the first book in the Earthseed series by Octavia E. Butler, and I gave this 4.75. I thought I gave it 4.5. We're gonna say 4.5 because that's what I remember giving it. Maybe I changed it as I kept going. But this story is a dystopian novel in what would be our present day, but it's not. It's a messed up world that we living in. We follow, dang, what's the girl name? I done forgot her name. Lauren, but she goes by Olamina. That's why I couldn't remember her name. Okay, so we follow Lauren, who is at the time, I want to say 16. She's a teenager, but she's living in a world where a majority of the country and the world is in poverty, and she has her own little neighborhood where they've been able to section off from the rest of the city in California, I believe, and it just follows her navigating that world and also questioning her religion. Her father is a pastor, but she doesn't necessarily believe in Christian theology, because the values, yes, but not the theology. And so she comes up with her own religion, or she discovers, as she would say, her own religion, which is Earthseed, and it views God as something that is changing, and you conform him or it to whatever it is that you need at the time. It's controversial, but I really did enjoy this series, and I gave the second book 4.75 stars. I enjoyed the second book more than the first book because it follows Olamina as she's creating this community of Earthseed, and it was really just cool to see how she was able to navigate that and also deal with political figures that have Christian values that are trying to dismantle what she has created. So it is a very thought-provoking series. I really did enjoy it. It definitely makes me want to read more of Octavia Butler's catalog. The next book I read, which I started reading this in December of last year after I finished the first book in this series. But after that first book, they made me, I was tired, boss. I was tired. I was tired of them characters, and that book was long. I enjoyed the book, but that book was long, so I took a break. I took a break, and I finished it, and that book is The First Family by Drew Collins. This is the second book in the Drew Collins series by Granger, and I gave it 4 stars. This series is about a magical HBCU. We have, dang, I could never remember anybody's name. But you have these group of individuals that becomes friends as they navigate being at Drew Collins University, which is a magical HBCU, like I said. And in the second book, we get a lot more information about the First Family, which is a family of vampires that are basically like over the whole mythical realm of black creatures. So there's vampires, I guess there are witches, sirens, werewolves, and a whole bunch of other mythical beings. But it is a fantasy novel, but it's a fantasy with black characters, and I absolutely love it. So these next few books I read basically in the span of 3 or 4 days, because this is after I got back from vacation, so I was in a reading mood, and I knocked them out. Like, I was reading a book a day. At one point I read 2 books in one day, but they were shorter. But let's get into the book. So next, I've read James by Percival Everett, which is a historical fiction. We got a 5-star read. At this point, I have at least 1 5-star read a month. Like, this has been a good reading year. It is a historical fiction, and it is a retelling of Huckleberry Finn. I read Huckleberry Finn when I was in high school. Could not tell you what that book is about. All I know is that this one is better. This one is better. I don't care. I don't care what the other book is about. This one is better because you're getting it from Jim's perspective, which is the slave in Huckleberry Finn. You're getting it from his point of view, what he had to go through as he was traveling with Huck, or Huckleberry as he is named in the book. But I absolutely loved it. I love how it ended. A lot of the black characters in the story are a lot smarter than they are perceived to be by the white people in the story. It's a good book. It's gonna make you a little mad, but not that mad. It's a good book. It's a good book. This next book, when I saw the title of this, I was like, I'm gonna read it so I can see what it's about. And this book is called Secrets of a Billionaire Bishop. Now I know this, I haven't reviewed a book like this on my channel yet. I did used to read books like this all the time, especially on Wattpad, but it's called Secrets of a Billionaire Bishop by Mikah. I did give this book 2.5 stars. Now, before y'all come for me, I understand it's an indie author. I'm not gonna say that I didn't enjoy the story. It's messy. It gave Tubi. It gave a Tubi movie. It was just that the story is giving Tubi, and I like Tubi movies. It's just it was fast in some parts and then slow in others, so it was just throwing me off. There is a second book in this series. Am I gonna read it? Yes, because I need to know what happens. The way this one ended, I gotta know what happens. I gotta know. Next, I read these 2 books in the same day. This next book I read is Please Me by Tay Mo'Nae. A very short read. It's only 81 pages. It's a novella. And I gave this one 3.75. This book was really good, but it's just a simple little steamy read. I do plan on reading more about this author because the way they cram so much good stuff into only 81 pages, yeah, I'm gonna read it again. But it was just a little simple read. I can't remember the names of the characters, but you have a lady that's a nurse, and she ends up dealing with this one patient, and she ends up, her friend recommends that she gets a massage. She goes to a massage parlor. Of course, the guy that's massaging her is the patient that she just had that she can't stop thinking about. Okay, last but not least, we have Can't Get Enough by Kennedy Ryan. I loved it. I love this book. Kennedy Ryan, I've read 4 books by her, and they've all been good. They've all been good. I gave this a 4.5. I probably would have rated it a little higher, probably a 4.75 if I had read the physical book, but I wasn't able to get the physical book, so I had to do the audiobook. It was still a good read. This story in the Skyline series is from Hendrix's perspective, so we get her story, a little bit more of her background. We learn more about her mother, who has Alzheimer's. Like all Kennedy Ryan books, she does a lot of background research before she writes her books, and she even mentions it in the beginning of the story. It's Kennedy Ryan. What do you expect? It's good. I just love how Kennedy Ryan makes it a point to show Black women love in all her stories. It ain't gotta be a whole bunch of drama. It's a little bit of drama. It's a little bit, but it's nothing too major. There is a little bit of trauma, but it doesn't always show like us having to go through 10 million different hula hoops to find love, because that's all we want is some love. Oh, but in this story we meet Maverick, who is her love interest, and Maverick got money. Maverick got money, and he's smooth. Maverick is real smooth like butter. I love Hendrix's story. If I were to rate the Skyline series like in order of how much I like them, definitely Before I Let Go will be number one for sure. Then I think we would have to go with Can't Get Enough, because Hendrix, yeah, love that. And then probably Soledad would be last, only because I felt like she was playing with that man because she didn't know if she wanted him or not. And I'm just like, girl, if you don't just go be with that man. But yeah, definitely sad that that series is ending. I could get another book out of them. I really could. Well, my husband sounds like he over there frying up some bacon. So that is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you have read any of these books. What was your ratings? How did you feel about them? Or if any of these books are on your TBR. And as always, I will see you in the next one.